Hello everyone, I'm Pierrette and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are making a really easy main course or protein for your lunch or dinner. We're going to start with some chicken breasts, a little bit of prosciutto, some feta cheese, and some fig butter. You could substitute apricot jam or anything else if you wanted, but the fig butter is a little less sweet and the flavors go great with the prosciutto and the chicken. So we are going to start with preparing the chicken. I'm just going to take these chicken breasts and cut them because they're a little too thick for what I want to do with them. And this is where you have to be very careful, but I'm just going to start the knife so that I'm cutting them approximately in half. These are nice thick fillets and I'm cutting them down from about 1 inch to a little more than 1/2 inch. And I'm just doing this with the 2 chicken breasts, which will give us 4 pieces total. Now you could either leave 1 chicken breast as a whole, as a serving, or if you don't eat that much, just have 1 of the pieces and that would be plenty. So we're gonna head over to the cooktop and cook up the chicken. I heated this pan over a medium-high heat and I'm putting a little bit of olive oil in the bottom. And I'm going to put my chicken in. If you hear that sizzle, that's always a good thing. It means that your pan is nice and hot and ready to cook. And I'm using tongs because I did just wash my hands and I don't want to have to wash them 30 or 40 times. I'm just going to season with a little salt, a little pepper, a little garlic, and just a sprinkle of rosemary also. So there's the garlic, and here's the rosemary. And I am going to cover that with a screen so it doesn't splatter everywhere. And we're going to let this cook for about 3 to 4 minutes until we get a really pretty golden color on one side, and then we're going to flip it over. It's always good to keep an eye on them. You want to make sure they get a nice pretty golden color to them. And when you have little guys like this, try and push them off to the side so they're not on the direct heat because they will cook faster, just like the little skinny tips on your chicken will cook faster. So put those towards the outside edge of your pan so they don't overcook because it'll happen really fast and those pieces will be overly dry. So we're going to let this go for just another minute or 2 and then we're going to go to the next step, which will be at the island. We're back. Our chicken has been seared and golden on both sides. There's a little bit of jus on the bottom of the pan. We're going to take our fig butter and we're just going to put a little bit on top of each piece of chicken. Now it's up to you, but I prefer not to put the spoon back in the container after I've touched the chicken. So I'm going to put a little bit on each piece of chicken and then smear it around so that I don't get my spoon full of chicken juice and then put it back inside of the fig butter, especially if your chicken's not cooked all the way. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a pretty decent amount. I'd say about a tablespoon on top of each one. And then I crumbled my feta cheese, and I'm just gonna spoon that on top as well. And this is a pretty heaping tablespoon of feta on top of each one, so that each bite will have a little bit of feta cheese and a little bit of fig butter on it, because that is what makes it delicious. I don't know if you're familiar with prosciutto, but it is an Italian ham and it's sliced very, very thin like carpaccio. It's also very salty. So don't overly salt your chicken when you're preparing it because your prosciutto has salt as well. So I'm just laying these out across the top of the pieces of chicken. One more piece ought to do it. So this was 2 slices, 2 chicken breasts, which we cut in half, and then 2 slices of prosciutto. And that is that. So every piece of chicken has prosciutto on top and fig jam, fig butter, and a little bit of feta cheese. So what I'm gonna do now is just spray the top with just a little bit of olive oil. I have the oven set on broil, and we're just gonna pop this in for a couple of minutes until the prosciutto gets a little bit of color and a little bit of crisp to it. And then we'll pull it out and I'll show you what a flavor bomb this is gonna be. So hang tight. We just pulled this out a couple seconds ago and it looks incredible and it smells even better. I'm gonna let this cool for a couple of minutes before I cut into it, because if you don't let your meat rest, it will lose all of the juices when you cut into it, and you don't want that because it makes your meat dry. So we're gonna let this rest a couple of minutes. Normally I would put a lid on it to rest it, but I'm not gonna do that this time because I don't want the steam to soften the prosciutto, which we just made crispy. So we're just gonna leave it here for a couple minutes and I'll check back. I washed my knife and my cutting board because it's very important not to contaminate the cooked chicken with the juices or bacteria from the raw chicken. So now that that's done, we're gonna go ahead, and this pan is still incredibly hot from the oven, so be careful of that. Gonna just take one piece and we will slice it up so you can see how delicious that looks. So there it is, cooked through, and absolutely beautiful, packed with flavor. A little bit salty, a little bit sweet, a little bit floral from the rosemary, and of course the chicken full of juicy goodness. I hope that you'll try this recipe and I'm sure you're gonna love it. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do that and share with your family and friends. Don't forget to stay till the end of the video because there will be links to other content on our channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care.